Okay, so we last left off then we have this query module, and we're basically going to read from team status, and we want to then populate essentially like X's and dashes based on which of these fields have been completed. So as part of that, we're going to get a data dump, and then obviously we have this info, team, terms, and roster fields, right? So I'm going to scoot this aside a sec. So to do this, I'm just going to write a simple block of PHP that I can kind of copy and paste for each one of these. So I'm going to say status, and I'm going to break into PHP, and I'm going to say if is set, and we're going to actually change this to just $S. This is a little bit shorter to write. If is set $S index 0, and the first one is info, and copy paste this, equal to 1, else will echo a big fat X. Otherwise, we'll echo, whoops, copy, not cut, a dash. Right? So it should be that we, whoops, sorry. Get a little ahead of myself. Let's close that PHP off. Should be then that we print an X if we have that status set to done. So we can actually check that here. So info is set to 0 right now. Let's set that to 1. Commit that change, and so we should get an X there now. And let me turn off this. Right? So really simple, just status, it's an X now. And that's interesting. Where's this 1 coming from? I'm not sure about that at all. It's kind of a strange one. Actually seen this the other day, so I'm kind of curious about this. Sorry for the slight delay here, but I've seen this printing a 1 or a 0 to the top of the screen here just the other day with another customer of mine. I'm not actually sure what that is. In his case, it was a 0. Let's double check that. Exit. Oh, duh, that's why. Sorry. We were just echoing that out. Okay, there we go. So, status X. And then we should be able to, just by changing this field, we should just be able to change this code over. Thing is, though, I don't like, it's actually in the worst. So we're going to cut and paste this, but we only have to change these two fields, so just info. So, no big deal. So, as a matter of fact, I can just do it this way, too. I can just duplicate that field. So the next one is terms. So, terms. And terms. Alright, so same thing. So status for terms should be a dash. And we could obviously change this so it's a red or something like that, or whatever, a check mark and an X as they had in the original application. This is good enough for now, though. So, okay, so the terms then. So this then will implement the thing where we click I agree and then we update the terms field. So this should actually be really simple. The idea here is if I click important info, I go to this terms page. This is just a short section of this. We'll read this through, I click I agree, and then we go to the confirmation page. And the confirmation page then should write to SQL Plus, and it should update the proper field. So it should say update team status set, and we want terms. We'll just hard code this equals to 1, where user ID equals question mark, and of course we'll pass this in using that same session raw. I should be able to copy and paste this as my variable, and now I should update team status at terms equals 1. Whoops. Where user ID equals session raw user ID. So let's give this a shot, and so this should click I agree, go to confirmation, and now this field term should equal 1, which it does. And of course, this logic for roster, a little bit more interesting. We could potentially have some kind of extra logic on here that, again, if you have a certain number of players, maybe this equals 1 to 0, or who knows, or maybe you just let the coach do it. I don't know. This is one of those things where you'd have to actually deal with the actual owner of the application in terms of like the people who contract this to see what qualifies as a status of being done for here. So the other big thing then is the add player and the roster management. And so we'll get started on this here, and then we'll try to finish this up in the next one. But so the idea is now if I click team roster, we're going to do a redirect to team-roster.php. And I believe that should be this guy right here, so team roster. So this will be, there's not a whole lot of development that needs to be done here, but the idea is we want to query all the players and just use the repeater to do that. So the one somewhat special thing that I want to implement, though, is that I want to make sure that when I add a player, we kind of do that in real time. So I just want to show that real quick. So we'll have a big column table, insert, and then of course the fields that we have for players have to be determined by a roster players table. So let's create that real quick. So create a new table, and we'll say team player, and of course because this is going to hold a bunch of different users, we'll need to implement the user ID. And of course this is a little bit ambiguous because this is like the coach's ID, but user ID is going to work fine for now. But we'll say name varchar 255, that's fine. A little bit long, but whatever. And we'll say, I don't know, phone. And we'll leave that as varchar, and we'll say 25, fine, whatever. All right, so again, we'll keep the same. So user ID, name, and phone. So name, phone. I'll just change these tokens manually. Name, phone. So team player. Of course, the trick is we want to only select by the specific coach that we have. So we're going to say where. Oh, and I wonder if I get session raw in here too. This might actually be interesting. So I actually like doing these jobs because in this case now, I can use get variable, post get, like I can use these, but I actually wanted, I want to limit this to session. And so when I'm building, this is what I love about doing this type of work is in RackForms now, maybe I got an idea for a new feature here that would actually help out because I want to use just the raw session value here. So I want to say where user ID equals, and then I want to use a token here, but I don't know if session raw is actually implemented in here, right? So this will either work or it won't. And if it doesn't work, we're going to end this video right now, and then I'll actually just implement this as a feature, right? If session raw doesn't work. So we'll see, yeah. So it doesn't like that token. It doesn't know what SR is, right? So it's not translating it. So that's fine. So this will be a cool little feature to add because in this way, we prevent, the whole reason I make a deal with this way we can prevent what type of information can be passed in, right? Like these are, because this isn't tokenized parameters, so we want to make sure they're tokenized. We want to make sure that they're filtered first. And the easiest way to do that is to just force a very specific value on us. And the easiest way we do that is using a tokenized form of a raw session value. So, hey, got a feature to add. I'm going to do that real quick. And then I will be back in the next video where we kind of finish up then, I think this video series, we'll actually go through and we will show how we query the players, add new ones, and just take a look at some cleanup for this application as well. So hopefully you'll join us for that.